Welcome to the Boxing Life podcast with me, Tony Jeffries. Alongside us, I've got Glenn, Mr. Six Figure Holmes. We call him Six Figures because he's the highest earning personal trainer
in the whole world.
In the whole wide world. Yeah. What about that?
We are back.
We are back. We've not done a podcast now for coming on 5 months. If you want to listen to me last podcast, I'll tell you why I was not podcasting. But yeah, we're back and we're coming at you with a heavy boxing podcast, talking a lot about boxing. This is what we talk about. We talk about boxing and we talk about life on this episode. That's why it's called, on this podcast. That's why it's called the Box and Life podcast. Do you want to list some of the things that we talk about, Glenn?
Yeah, why Britain's got the best amateur boxing program in the world. The rise of the Eastern Europeans coming up in boxing. The recent fights, the James DeGale fight out in Las Vegas. Tell a couple of stories because we were there for that fight. The fights this past weekend, Amir Khan, ADRIEN, BRONER, and how Kell Brook fits into that picture, the Gervonta Davis and what's going on with him, Lomachenko, the Canelo failed drug test setup, and everything else.
Triple G's next fight as well. So yeah, this is the Boxing Life podcast. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy it. You can follow us on Instagram at Boxing Life. You can leave us a review on this. It'll really help the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, wherever you listen to. It's also on YouTube, the episode, so you can go and watch us on YouTube. Here it is, the Boxing Life podcast with me, Tony Jeffries, and Glenn Holmes. Well, Glenn, feels good to do another podcast with you, mate.
I'm absolutely buzzing to be back. I've been hassling you for 3 months to do a podcast, and you're like, "Nah, I'm too busy. Nah, I'm too busy." But now here we are, so let's
get into it. Yeah, I've been busy as shit, and if we have not uploaded a podcast for nearly 5 months now. I uploaded one episode where I was telling you why I've not been uploading podcasts, and obviously the reason is that too busy. The end of last year, I wanted to concentrate on more the business. The business wasn't doing as well as I wanted it to be. So if it's the first time listening, I co-own 2 boxing fitness facilities called Box and Burn, one in Santa Monica, one in Brentwood, Los Angeles, and then also co-own the Box and Burn Academy. It's an education program with Glenn and Kevin, the co-owner of Box and Burn. So yeah, the businesses wasn't doing what I would like to have done.
Let's get it clear. I mean, it was still doing fine.
No, it was doing
but
doing
it just
great.
Wasn't. It was like a little bit of a drop off, and I think part of the reason for that was because the holiday season in fitness industry always dips a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I think we were so balls deep in academy,
right?
And putting time into podcast and stuff, and then just I was on cruise mode a little bit, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Put a bit of effort back in, and it's booming again.
Yeah, I felt like I just took my foot off the gas a little bit. I'm speaking for me, not so much my business partner Kevin, but yeah, I feel like I've took my foot off the gas a little bit, and it wasn't doing great. Yeah, that time of year isn't great for the industry anyway, but comparison to the previous years, although we've changed a lot of things in the gym with loads of other shit, but I don't want to get into too much because we've got so much more to talk about.
Yep.
Boxing.
Yep.
The boxing world is flying now, isn't it?
So we're straight into the boxing.
But boxing is flying now. It's amazing, and
I love how well the British fighters are doing. It's probably the best it's ever been, right, for British boxing.
Yeah. I mean, I retired, it was better then. But then when I retired, no, it's really doing well, and it all comes down to the amateur boxing program.
Yeah.
People say, how the hell is that? But yeah, it really, really does.
Yeah.
The amateur boxing program in Great Britain is probably one of the best in the world, and I know this firsthand because that's how I went all the way through and won the Olympic medal because of this program that got put in place.
Yeah.
And if you look at the big names, the big prospects, or not even the prospects, like Anthony Joshua, he was on that program. Mm-hmm. He's probably the biggest name now in British boxing.
So let me ask you this: what do you think makes that the best amateur boxing program in the world? What kind of stuff is going on behind the scenes that makes it the best? I mean, the facility for a start out in Sheffield.
Yeah, the facility, the program, the consistency of training, the continually bringing in champions, like the national champions, and the way that you train there, you train like 3-4 times a day. You're getting your expenses paid, you're getting your meals paid for, your travel expenses, your hotel, your accommodation. You're training down there 4 days a week, 5 days a week, with other champions.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about this a lot before. You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. And down there, you're surrounding yourself with 10, 12 other national champions spawn day in, day out with them.
Yeah.
You're obviously going to rise and become better and better.
Yeah.
There is other countries that do. I know the Eastern European countries like Russia and Kazakhstan and all them do it as well.
I'm glad you mentioned them, because I was just going to say, like, they're probably right behind, or right up there with the British fighters as well. And what's, I think, has held them back in the past is the American fighters have all been flashy, and the money's all been in America. But the pattern I see happening now is these Russians are so good and so dominant that the talent's just speaking for itself, and it's kind of competing with the flashy money side of it in America. Not that the American fighters aren't talented, obviously they are, but the Russian fighters and the Ukrainians and Kazakhstan and all that, they're all starting to really get to the top now, which is where they deserve to be, and they're avoided. Big time. But
yeah, they are in the pro game, and that's the thing. With America hasn't got an amateur boxing program. They've got one, but it's really poor. You know, it's really bad because they haven't got the funds. For some reason, the government's not putting the funding into boxing, so the fighters are not getting funded. So what do they want to do? They want to turn pro and earn some money straight away.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the funding for the British amateur boxing program, where that came from, because you've been a big supporter of Ollie Harrison, right?
Yeah.
And he was one of the main reasons why that funding came into play.
Yeah.
Right?
In the year 2000. In the Sydney Olympics, a heavyweight called Ollie Harrison won a gold medal for Great Britain, which helped the UK lottery funding come through, and they funded all the boxers. They put not all the boxers, they funded the program.
Yeah.
Where they gathered 50 plus national champions, 16 years old and older. They aimed for the 16-year-olds for the 8-year, looking at long term for 8 years. So they're going to fund these 16-year-olds for eight years to the 2008 Olympics, which I went to. I was 16 years old. I went onto that program, start getting funded, and that was the best thing that happened. Ollie Harrison winning that medal, because now, like I said, all the national champions train together. And at the time, I was 16 years old. I was getting £500 every 3 months, right, which converts to about $750 every 3 months.
Yeah.
But you're 16-year-old, you're at school. That's a lot of money. Yeah. That's a lot of money.
You've got cash in your pocket.
Yeah. And then they're bringing you down to do training camps with other national champions.
Yeah.
They're taking you around the world traveling. So I was traveling to Greece, Poland, Germany. I traveled everywhere. 16 years old, 17, 18. Start getting more experience, winning national titles. I won the European gold medal when I was 16 years old, which again that helped boost the funding, because now they've got Ollie Harrison's money, Ollie Harrison's success in 2000. In 2001, they got the first European gold medalist boxer, which was me.
Yeah.
Which showed them, like, look, this program's working.
Yeah.
You put money into us. Now we've created this European champion. Right. Then they got more money, and then I mean the rest is. It's not history, but it went from there. It snowballed.
Yeah, and look at it now.
We trained more and more together, and then we got better and better. Then, see, Ollie Harrison, there was only 2 people who went to the Sydney Olympics. It was Ollie Harrison and Courtney Fry, and Ollie Harrison won the gold. In 2004, there was only 1 boxer that went to the Olympics.
Amir Khan, right?
Amir Khan.
Only one?
Only 1 boxer from Great Britain.
Wow.
And Amir Khan is a freak of nature. Like, he really is. And we're going to talk about Amir Khan later on this podcast.
Yeah.
Because he's just fought on the weekend. Then... So it's like we believe that the chances of us going to the 2008 Olympics is very, very slim.
Yeah.
Right? But we qualified 7 boxers. And I was like, wow, this is the most boxers that's ever qualified for Great Britain. And now the program's right in place. The funding's helping us. The funding's stopping us from turning professional, you know, which happens in America. Yeah. They're not getting the funding. They just want to earn that money fast.
And Mexico.
In Mexico, yeah, all these countries. And then...
Turn like pro at like 14 or whatever.
Yeah, which is crazy. So that's how the funding has really helped develop amateur boxing, and now all these boxers are coming through, traveling around the world, fighting everywhere, going to Olympic Games, getting medals, and really putting limelight and putting boxing under the spotlight because they're so successful. And now when we turn professional, now that's why Britain's got one of the biggest, probably the best boxing nation in the world. Yeah. Right? Especially with prospects up and coming.
I think about a year ago we had more world champions than anybody else. Yeah. It was like, well, I can't remember what it was, but it was like 13, 14. Yeah. But I'm not sure exactly what it is now or who it is now, but it might even be better now. But yeah, it's unbelievable.
And like you said, like these Eastern Europeans, like the Russians, Kazakhstans, Uzbekistans, the Ukrainians, there's so many of them countries with very, very talented fighters in. But up until recently, no one's wanted to touch them. And I think now they've seen with the success of Triple G, he was the first one that they brought over from Eastern Europe that I can think of, who's massive name now. Now it's like, ooh, now I think these American pros are
there's a ton
bring some
like
over.
right on the line of breaking up to that next level as well.
Well, Kovalev.
Well, yeah, Kovalev did well. But you mentioned to me about Bertabiev or whatever.
Yeah,
Bertabiev
beast.
And Usyk.
Yeah.
Those guys, they're there now.
Yeah.
And like no one wants to fight him.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think with them, the reason why the Americans have not really went over and got them fighters and brought them back is because they're not that marketable.
Yeah.
But like look at Triple G, he's not marketable at all.
But
but he's fighting speaks for itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's that much, that big of a talent.
Yeah.
You know, it's ridiculous.
Exactly, and that's what's happening now with all those Eastern Bloc fighters, the talents. What's making them marketable?
Yeah.
They just touch people and they go, and it's like everyone.
Yeah.
You know, people love that because they get seeing knockouts.
Yeah. So yeah, boxing I think now is in one of the best places it's been for a long time. People disagree with that all day long, but I mean I might be biased because I know there's a lot of my friends right now who's world champions or up there, you know.
Yeah. Speaking of that, just a couple of weeks ago we were in Las Vegas. Went out there to see James DeGale.
Yeah.
Try and regain his IBF super middleweight title and his rematch against I'm blanking on his name. Caleb Truax. And it's a great night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great. So James DeGale, Olympic teammate of mine, he got the gold medal in Beijing 2008 for Great Britain, and I got the bronze medal the same year. He was my main sparring partner for that, so I'm very close to James, and it was great to see him win that title back. He should never have lost it in the first place. Obviously, he lost that fight, but he should never have lost that fight. You know?
Yeah, I think he came back too soon from his shoulder surgery and didn't take him really that seriously and just didn't turn up.
Yeah, it was a great trip. It's always good to go to Vegas and always fun.
But that rematch, we were ringside for it, and I've never seen you so passionate at a fight or about a fight at all. It was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah.
Just the whole 12 rounds, just on your feet, just shouting your head off. It was class.
It's because like I've always said before, like I'll watch fights if they're big fights, if me friends, and when they're me friends, I'm so emotionally involved with the fights.
Definitely.
I just want them to succeed so bad. So yeah. And I was buzzing that he won that fight, and
it was a tough fight too.
Yeah, I think he made it hard for himself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he got the win, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
It's the main thing at the end of the day.
Buzzing for him, and then it'd be interesting to see where he goes from here now. If he gets the Callum Smith versus George Groves winner, for a unification,
that'll be a huge fight.
A
huge fight. I think that's going to be as big as Groves Froch. You know, I really think it will, because the build-up's going to be massive.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think Groves beats Callum Smith?
No, I don't know. I think it's a proper 50-50 fight.
It's going to be a great
fight. It's a 50-50 fight. Yeah, but I don't know. I would love to see Callum Smith beat him in style.
And then Callum Smith, James DeGale. I
know you suck George Groves' arse all the time. Buys his t-shirts and that, and white wears around the gym. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a great fight. Vegas was a good trip. And then that fight after DeGale's fight.
Oh yeah, Landy Lara against Jarrett Hurd.
That was a great
fight.
That
was a great fight.
He's a beast, that fella.
Just a perfect. This is why I love boxing. That was like the definition of perfect style matchup. Just a pure skilled, like Cuban mover against just a beast coming forward who just knocks people out. Yeah. And it was just, I thought Lara won watching it live. I thought Lara outboxed him like he does everybody, and then he just got caught and dropped in the last round, and Hurd won the decision. I feel so sorry for Landy Lara because he's got 3 losses on his record now, and I think all 3 fights he won.
Right.
And he's just not one of. He's another one. It's like we talked about how you're not marketable. You can't speak English. Jarrett Hurd's marketable. He looks. He's like got a different look, and he's just massive at the weight, knocks people out. He's more marketable. So when you get a close decision,
I thought it was close, but
you felt Hurd won.
Yeah, I thought Hurd won.
It just depends what you like, doesn't it? Do you like someone who's coming forward trying to knock someone out? Or do you like someone who's, boxing and moving and keeping him off.
Which is always hard to score them fights.
Yeah.
And hard to think how the judges are going to score them fights because you never know.
But Lara fought Canelo and did the same thing, and just I don't think he really got touched for 12 rounds and didn't get a decision. And then everyone just took the piss saying he was on his bike all the time, but whatever. But yeah, I just feel sorry for him because he's just unbelievably talented.
Yeah, it was interesting at that fight as well. We were talking to Kell Brook. Kell Brook was ringside. Another one I know from the amateur days, and it was good to see him. And I think it's common knowledge. Everyone knows that him and Amir Khan, that's a big fight that everyone wants to see right now.
Yep.
But I don't think he thinks it's going to happen right now.
That's what he was saying to you, right?
Yeah. But obviously he wants to fight, but it's not going to happen next.
Coming off this past weekend when Khan won, obviously in like 39 seconds, we'll get to that in a minute, but I'm more excited to see BRONER and Khan than Kell Brook and Khan. Because, as Amir Khan said, Kell Brook's been fighting at 154. He fought 160, 154. He's kind of moved up.
Right.
If they fight, it's going to be a catchweight fight. There's not going to be a belt involved. I'd rather see a world title fight between Adrian Broner and Amir Khan first.
Yeah.
And then if he comes through that, then figure something out with Brook, big stadium fight.
Yeah. Well, it's a business, you know. Khan's been at the ring for two years, and he should try and get a few fights in before that big fight and try and make some money, build his popularity right back up there.
Yeah. The only danger if he does that route, if he does take the Broner fight and doesn't come through that, then the Kell Brook fight's off.
That's out the window.
You know, or it might not be, but it's less of a big attraction than it would be if he
gets beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was interesting when we talking to Paulie Malignaggi on the plane.
Oh yeah.
Coming back.
Let's tell that story.
Yeah, we seen Paulie Malignaggi.
Mugged you off, and then you told him who you were, and then he was your best mate.
Yeah, his best mate, retweeting me shit and all that, and following us on Instagram. No, I mean, I think with Paulie Malignaggi, he's that fucking busy, and that at a Vegas weekend, he just gets mobbed all the time. Yeah. So yeah, he must be sick of talking about boxing because that's all he talks about all the time.
Yeah. He loved it though. Once we had a chat, because he actually trained. He was going out to LA to do Brendan Schaub's new Showtime show, the Below the Belt show. So once we told him we knew Brendan and I trained him in the gym and stuff, he was like, oh. He was having it.
All out with it.
Yeah.
But it was good. And then that flight. So I want to talk about the flight back. So funny. So I'm a little bastard. Let's put it that way. I'm a little bastard, right?
I'm a kid, is what you are.
I'm like a kid. So if you listen to this from England, you'll probably on WhatsApp, you probably get all these crazy videos and sent to you all the time. So I get these videos sent all the time. So anyway, I've changed the name on my phone to Michelle. I don't know why, but it's Michelle. It's a female name.
Just on your WhatsApp thing?
No, on my phone.
On
my phone. So if I send someone, or someone searches for me on AirDrop.
Oh, this is genius.
So if someone searches for me on AirDrop, it's Michelle, right? So then, if I'm trying to send someone something on AirDrop, it's like he's a message off Michelle.
So
right?
Someone's more likely to receive it, right?
Well.
Is that the reason you did it?
Because if it's a fella and it's like Tony wants to AirDrop you something, fuck Tony.
Yeah.
But if it's Michelle, pass this here.
So
if it's Michelle.
So before we do that, when I want to talk about when you're on a flight and you try and airdrop somebody something.
Right.
I don't know if anyone listening ever does that, but send us like a comment or an example, or tell us a story about when you've tried to do it and if it came off or not. Because every time I go on airdrop and I'll pick a random, like people's phones come up, right? I try and send them something, and every time it gets declined. I've not had one person.
Because it's Glenn.
So now you've told me that, I'm gonna change my name. And I'm going to see if I can start getting some results.
I like how you see results. I like that. but I also like how you see it. Tell us some stories when you do it. Mate, do you think anyone else does this?
Good point.
No.
Probably not.
Mate,
what's wrong with this?
So I've got this one video. It's like a woman.
Fight video.
It's a fight one, but there's another one where it's a cleavage, and it's like a woman. It looks like she's about to like strip.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck, I'm getting this bird, Michelle, sending these videos.
Yeah.
And then you open it up when you're on the airplane, and this is what you hear. Killed it. Oh, it's not working now.
Go on, hit play.
Oh, you've got it on silent. So yeah, you're on the airplane, you get this sexy woman image coming up, and then you hear, mate, it's not working. Oh, it's spoiled.
Just turn it up.
Right.
So go and reset the story. You get this section.
Yeah. Yeah.
Third time
edit this out. Edit this out. So now imagine this: you're on the airplane, you get an airdrop come up from Michelle, and then you can see the preview of the thumbnail image, and it's a sexy woman
Just
in a
from
bikini.
a random phone.
Oh, is this Michelle? So you press play of the video, and this happens. Right. So.
Belter.
So I'm sitting there like on the airplane. It's normally when you wait to take off or when you land and you're sitting there, and I'm doing that because it's quiet, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing this. This is on the way back from Vegas, and I'm doing this, and I'm there's like a list of fucking men's names come up, and there was one fella called Barry just popped up, and I was like, Barry, we're a name like Barry. He's definitely accepting this. Boom, sent, accept, and I'm hiding my phone. I'm all nervous and all that. Like, oh, because people walk past and they see your shit. So I'm thinking, I hope he doesn't see me stuff. So Barry accepted, and then I'm sitting there thinking, I'm waiting for it, and then all of a sudden I hear, and then I'm laughing, and then I turn around and look where it is. Everyone on the plane turn around, looking at this fella Barry, and he's all panicking, trying to switch his phone off as fast as he can. So funny.
Did he clock you though when you started laughing?
No, he didn't clock me because everyone's looking at him. Yeah. All he's thinking about is turning his phone off as fast as he can. Mate, I'm pissing myself. That's one of the funniest things I've ever done. I can't. I've told the story that many times. I can't stop laughing at it. So funny. Poor Barry went bright red. He looked like a fucking tomato. He had a baldy head as well. Overweight. Just a fat looking pervert.
Just the most normal man in the world.
Just a pervy bastard. Just horny as fuck for Michelle. All of a sudden he gets that. It's pure humiliating. On an aeroplane full of hundreds of people.
Horrible.
So funny.
We got to talk about the guy in the Fremont Street in Vegas too. Who you go in, you pay $1, and you put his body in whatever position you want.
Oh, aye.
So what did I do? Right. So just to set the scene, we were in Fremont Street in Old Town Vegas, and there's like street performers and all that kind of stuff. There's one guy, whatever position.
Thousands of people there.
Yeah, look, thousands. It was packed. And there's this guy who's got a bucket. You put $1 in, and whatever position you put his body in, he's got to stay there until somebody else goes and puts $1 in and moves him into a different position. So I was like, right, fuck this. I threw $1 in, put him in, like the hardest plank to hold when you're on your back and your legs are off and your arms are off like this, right? So put him in that. And I'm like, he's no chance he's lasting past 30 seconds in that. So he's there, like, arms are off, legs are off, just shaking, trying to hold this plank. And then someone else went in and changed it. I was like, what are you doing? Dying to see him fail on that, but he lasted. Fair play to him. And then we were putting him on his back with his hand like this.
Yeah, so funny.
And giving V's and all that. And just having a laugh.
Yeah, if you've not been to Vegas, I highly recommend it. It's so
it's pure fun.
There's just stupid shit happening everywhere. Yeah. Can't get into that too much on this podcast.
Well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Apart from herpes. That sticks with you for life. That's what they're saying it.
Is that the t-shirt? Apart from herpes across
apart from herpes, that comes with you, that cunt. Yeah, so moving on to the fights.
I love how we went from boxing to herpes.
Boxing to herpes.
How did that happen?
To women having orgasms and shit. Moving on, so BRONER's just fought this weekend as well.
I can't stand that guy, I'm sorry.
I love him. I couldn't stand him before, but now I love him.
He's just a tool. Did you see the what he was saying after the fight? He's gone 12 rounds with someone and he's still giving him shit.
What's that doing?
It's just making people think he's a knob.
It's got us talking about him right now.
I know, but not one person has anything positive to say about him. He's just like, I don't know.
I mean, he's smashing it though. Well, maybe
is he?
I mean, he's doing alright.
That's what's so shit.
He's like, one of the most famous.
If he was undefeated and like just killing it, and he could back it all up and all that, then fair enough.
Isn't he one of the biggest American fighters right now, name-wise, publicity, fame-wise?
Probably, yeah.
Like, after like, who is the biggest names in American boxing? Deontay Wilder's up there.
Yeah, Wilder, BRONER. Actually, who is actually American?
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis, Errol Spence,
But Errol Spence, another one.
Yeah,
so
he's
when we had
boring.
when we had our boxing there, Kell Brook was getting more pictures with people than Errol Spence. No one really knew who he was.
Yeah.
And my client Mark Stewart, who was at the fight with us, he was telling us, he was saying, you should have seen how much popular Kell Brook was over Errol Spence.
Yeah.
It's mad. That's another thing we've spoken about before on previous podcasts, is how fighters don't really use social media the way that they should use social media. What I think they should. They can use social media to really big themselves up, even if it's just posting training videos every other day.
Yeah.
The training every day. Put a video of your shadowboxing out.
Right.
Put a video talking in the camera saying, I've just done this.
Yeah.
But they miss that opportunity. They miss
They
it.
don't really think about it, do they? It's weird.
And it's so easy for them to build their following on social media, but they don't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Broner fought, I'd draw. I thought he nicked it. I
think he's gonna have I think Khan's gonna be next for him.
Yeah, I think so. I think
and that's
so.
a great fight.
Yeah,
it's a great fight.
It's a big fight.
I think Khan beats him.
Yeah, I think he's outboxing him, but Khan's so fast. So so Khan's fight there, 40 seconds, 39 seconds. He won.
Just made the guy look stupid.
And he come out and he was flying.
Yeah.
What's that guy's record?
Low Greco, he's only lost 3. He lost to Errol Spence. He got stopped by Errol Spence, and he got stopped by Sean Porter, and then now he's just been stopped by Amir Khan.
Yeah, he's not the biggest name in boxing right now, but he's doing.
Let's see, let's pull up his box rec.
But Khan is so talented. I think he's really.
He's lost 4 now, so yeah, he lost to Errol Spence. Sean Porter stopped him, or Sean Porter didn't stop him. He won on points. Errol Spence stopped him in the 3rd round, and then Amir Khan stopped him in the 1st round. But here's what annoys me when someone like Amir Khan, right? He went up to middleweight, got knocked out bad, been out for 2 years, right? And people give him shit for taking a lesser opponent. Like, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna jump back in and fight Triple G? No. It's like you don't understand how it works.
Right.
And here's the thing: he's coming back, and he can't win because if he'd have gone the distance with that guy, they would have been, should have stopped him. He was a bum. Yeah. He's a bum. And then knocks him out in 39 seconds. Oh well, he was a bum. So you know what I mean? There's nothing you can do. But yeah, he looked good. He looked confident, explosive. Coming off a knockout and being out, just got in there and just smashed him up. Got him out. It's good. Exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah. So hopefully that. I would love to see the build up with him and Broner, because you're seeing when that guy.
A great build up.
You seen when Khan flipped when the fella mentioned Khan's bird.
Yeah.
Because for a fact that's all Broner's going to talk about.
Yeah. I think that's all that guy had though, wasn't it? Just to get under his skin. He knew he didn't have the talent to beat him, so he's like, I'm just going to wind him up.
But Broner will.
Or Broner will destroy him. Yeah.
Ami was in Boxing Burn about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Came in, which was great to see him. I used to room with him back before he went to the Olympics. I remember when he was 16 or 15, might have been 15. I was sharing a room with him, and he said, "I want to go to the 2004 Olympics and win gold medal." I was like, "This fuck was crazy. He's off his head."
Yeah.
Like 15, 16-year-old, and I was like, "All right, sound." And like I said before that, there was only Ollie Harrison being in the other Olympics, Ollie Harrison and County Fry, and he did it. Well, he won the silver medal, but lost to Mario Kindle, in one of the best amateur boxers of all time.
Yeah.
And then he beat him in the rematch. But for a kid to have that much self-belief in himself and actually not just talk the talk, walk the walk as well. I remember when he was 16, won the England team, and he had sponsors, he had camera crews following him around. This was after he was qualified for the Olympics. We couldn't believe how big he got, how fast when he was so young, getting so much publicity, which is rightly so, because his story is amazing.
Yeah.
That age,
his story is amazing, and I always used to think he used to annoy me a little bit, like when he was, 4 or 5 years ago, he'd always be talking about, I'm gonna get the Mayweather fight, I'm gonna get the Pacquiao fight, and I'd just be like, oh come on, you just got stopped, and it just seemed like he was a little bit deluded on where he was at, but. Now where he's at, I have nothing but respect for him. What he's done is amazing, I think, and I really want him continue going and win more world titles and almost prove to people like just have a really good career.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always had an amazing career, but I want him to just keep
What was
going
that
and succeeding.
Colombian called?
I have a lot of respect for him.
Bodros or something who he fought when he got knocked out. His first time he got knocked out.
British Prescott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I was there. I was ringside for that fight. That was horrible. He got knocked out bad. He was undefeated at the
Frank
time.
Warren, right?
Yeah. The guy was had like 19 fights or something, 19 knockouts, like most of them first round, and he knocked Corn out. And then after the knockout, I heard Frank Warren ran, and I'm talking Frank Warren, Amir's promoter, ran to that Prescott's dressing room with the contract and signed him straight away.
Fucking hell.
I know.
Really?
Yeah. Like Frank Warren was like loving Amir Khan before the fight.
Right.
And I heard that's what happened. He went there, just signed the contract.
Shit.
It just shows like
horrible,
how much of a business it is. I mean, fucking Amir's just still semi-conscious and he's getting to sign a contract.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Like offering him dough and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, understandable, right?
Yeah. Oh, but
it's just nasty.
Cold as fuck.
I remember when Khan fought Garcia. Was it
Danny Garcia?
Danny Garcia, and Oscar De La Hoya was all over Khan before that fight.
And then he was in the corner celebrating with Garcia.
Yeah, as soon as Khan got knocked out, he was on his
I remember that.
That really made me dislike Oscar De La Hoya when he done that.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm here and I'm emotionally connected. I'm emotionally involved with the fight.
Yeah.
So when I seen that, I was like, oh, Oscar, you fucking tranny.
Horrible. Go get back on your Charlie and get your tights on and your high heels. What are you doing?
Gervonta Davis, Lomachenko.
Yep. It's on now, I think, right?
Well, Lomachenko's got this beast who's fighting next, who's just boxed Luke Campbell.
He's fighting
what's it called again?
Jorge Linares.
Yeah.
Jorge Linares.
That's a good fight because I really
it's a great fight. Linares is a beast. He's skilled. He's hard. He'll fight. You know, he'll give him a tough fight, but I don't think he'll have enough to do anything over 12 rounds.
I don't think anyone will. I think Lomachenko's pound for pound the best fighter now.
What's so interesting though, like when Lomachenko gets to Davis, is that Davis is so explosive and powerful.
Right.
So that's the variable that's going to make it interesting.
Right.
I think that's going to be his hardest fight. But it's interesting speaking of Davis because we've heard some stuff about him recently.
Let's go.
Some insider stuff. So he was put in a house by Mayweather in Vegas. Mayweather put him up with a house, and they were really pissed off with him after the last couple of fights. He didn't make weight, right?
Yeah.
And he's been saying things like, I've done it all on my own, and being disrespectful, not listening to Mayweather in the gym in sparring and all this. And so he's kind of rubbing him the wrong way a little bit as it was. But they've kind of tried to turn it around. I heard that he put him up in a house in Vegas and spent like a couple of million on like furniture and just pimping this place out, making him feel like he's having it, you know. And said, all I ask for you is just to do your training camps and stay on it and just be professional and get through your camps and win your fights, right? Do you know what he did? He got all the stuff that Mayweather put in this house, sold it, right? Took the money and fucked off to Ohio, and he's living with ADRIEN BRONER.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, he roomed up with ADRIEN BRONER in Ohio. And like, if you could think of a worse roommate to keep you on the straight and narrow and keep you disciplined in training camps,
be BRONER.
BRONER would be like, he's probably the worst one you could room.
But as well, think of
how much the truth there is to that or not, I don't know, but
as well, ripping Mayweather off. You know, I wouldn't do that.
Exactly, like
Mayweather's
someone who's responsible pretty much for your entire career to this point.
Yeah.
And getting you to where you've got to just be that disrespectful, it's unbelievable. So I think they were really pushing for the Lomachenko fight to try and get a loss on his record so that they could get him out of the contract and off the promotion team.
Yeah, that's mad.
Where it's at now, I don't know. I know there's issues with
that's the thing about promoters. When you sign a deal with a promoter, they'll see you under this contract. If you lose, I can get out of the contract. You can get out of the contract if you want.
Right.
So it's basically saying if you lose, I don't want you anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So I remember when I signed my contract, I said I want 2 losses on me contract.
Yeah.
And my managers got me final say in who my opponent is. and my manager was my dad.
Yeah.
You know, and I still try to stick to us. They try to make us fight over Mackenzie. When I was a super middleweight at 168, they try to fight us over Mackenzie at 185, telling us, "Oh, you'll beat over Mackenzie. He's lost a few fights." I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not fighting over Mackenzie." And my dad was like, "Not a chance.
Yeah.
Why would we want to risk it over Mackenzie?" And I've told you before, he's the biggest puncher I've ever sparred with. This was before I even sparred with him. Massive puncher. Why would we want to have Tony? And this was because I drew a fight with Bambula, and I think my promoter wanted the testers.
Right.
You know, so he was like, "Oh, you're gonna fight this one."
Yeah. So they were going to give you Orville Mackenzie after that draw.
Yeah.
Shit.
So it's like,
what were you then, like 8 or 9-0?
Yeah. So it was like, if Tony loses the fight, it's good because he's shit, right? If he wins, good, he's gonna get boosted up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like,
and it's not like looking after you, that is it?
No.
And I was going to mention this when you mentioned the Frank Warren story earlier about Amir Khan. Do you just think, like, at that point that's just bad matchmaking, putting him in there with somebody who's 19-0 and 19 knockouts?
Yes. I mean, we'll see that now.
It's just naive, isn't it?
Especially from Colombia.
Yeah.
Right, and there's like no footage of him. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, Amir beat him.
There's the same thing happened with I think with David Price too. They knocking people out for fun. And then all of a sudden, they give him, when he was like, I think 13, 14 fights in, which is still not a lot.
Yeah.
Throw him in with Tony Thompson. At that point, he'd only lost to Klitschko.
Right.
You know, Southpaw as well.
Never been stopped.
Southpaw, only lost to Klitschko. Like, come on.
I know. It's bad. I was Frank Maloney as well, you know.
Yeah.
And then give him the rematch with him as well.
Yeah.
And then later on, he got done for PhDs.
Or Tepper.
No, Tony Thompson.
Oh, he
failed
did?
a drug test.
Tony Thompson did?
I'm sure he did. Can
Shit.
you Google that, Edwin, and see if Tony Thompson failed a drug test, the boxer? But I'm sure he did, because Tepe failed a drug test as well.
Yeah.
Tepper
did, yeah.
Tepper did.
I did, but they kept that on the record though, didn't they? Or did they take it off?
Which one?
The Aaron Tepper against David Price. I'm not sure if
they might have took it off.
Did
you find that? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he did fail.
See, Tony Thompson failed as well. And then he fought Tepper, failed a drug test.
Yeah.
And then he's just fought, what's his face? Who also failed a drug test in the past.
Oh, Povetkin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then another example I was thinking of was, it was Kevin Mitchell's last fight against, it turned out to be his last fight. But they gave him a guy called Barroso as well. And it was the same sort of thing, like, no one really knew anything about him. When I watched the fight, it was just awkward southpaw, who was just, like, you could just see every shot was, like, super heavy. And he was coming off a loss to Linares, who was fighting Lomachenko, and put him right in with this Barroso guy. And it was just an awful styles matchup. And I just thought, you've not done your research, you're not, like, do you know what I mean? It's bad matchmaking. And it's insane how much one bad decision, one bad match can cost people careers.
Right.
It's a huge decision.
People said it for years about Mayweather, about he's been matchmaking, he's handpicked his opponents.
Mm-hmm.
So what? I mean, but
he worked up to that point to be able to do that.
Yeah, but as well, like, he has fought some high level people. It might not have been at the primes of their careers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, Canelo, he was young.
Yeah. I'd blame, but that you can't blame Mayweather for that.
Well,
Oscar De La Hoya pushed for that.
Oh, did he?
Wanted Canelo in there. Like, we're going to get Mayweather.
Yeah.
Like, when it was made, I was like, nah.
Well, talking about drugs and Canelo, what about this
contaminated meat?
Mexican chicken on the steroids?
Like, how can that even happen? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He ate some chicken, it's contaminated. He's got the best team. He's the number one boxer in the world. He's got millions of dollars. He's got the best nutritionists and all that around him. How the hell do you get contaminated meat into your diet?
Unbelievable.
Why is it not getting imported and it's from the best sources? And I don't understand it.
Yeah. I've just ordered some meat from this company where I sent you the thing about. It's all organic and grass fed and untouched and all that shit. But it's amazing. So I mean, if I can do it, I think Canelo's got a little bit more money than me. Do you think?
Probably not actually. Cause,
No.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
all right.
think so.
Well, if I can afford it, he can afford it. No.
But just jumping back to Mayweather, just to go through his record.
Yeah, he's
right?
got some names on his record.
Just listen to this. So Zab Judah, multiple-time world champion. Oscar De La Hoya, Hall of Famer. Ricky Hatton,
Beast.
Juan Manuel Marquez, probably one of the best Mexican fighters of all time, right behind Chavez. Shane Mosley, beast, multiple-time world champion. Miguel Cotto, multiple-time world champion, one of the best Puerto Rican fighters of all time. Canelo Alvarez, Marcus Maidana twice, beast. Manny Pacquiao. It's like, it's not a bad list.
Conor McGregor.
And then Conor McGregor. It's weird on BoxRec because it says debut.
40 on his debut.
Yeah. But yeah, the Canelo situation. What do you think of it? The frustrating thing for me is how it's been dealt with, like the ban. He's got 6 months.
6 months. See, it's a hard one. Like, I've always been a believer that if you feel a drug test, you should be banned for life. Now I'm kind of like, let's see if that really did happen. He did have contaminated meat. He shouldn't be deserved to be banned for life. But I think he should be on a probation period where if he ever gets caught ever again, anything, that's it. You're fucking done.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely. So like, say you give him 6 months ban, what's he gonna do now? Probably you could easily just go on juice for 6 months because he's not gonna get tested now.
Right.
There's no probation with it, I don't think.
Is there not testing when you're off?
No, I don't think so. Like, I think it's just a complete ban. So it's basically you're gonna go on holiday for 6 months and you can go and do what you want.
But like, when you feel a drug when you're on probation from jail and you're not allowed to take drugs, they test you every week or something.
Yeah.
Is there none of that in boxing?
I don't think so.
I've never heard of it.
So that's what I was thinking. Like, why don't they just give him a 2-year ban? Take him out for 2 years, and then say you're gonna get randomly tested at intervals. So he's on his toes. He's forced then to make sure that his team are feeding him uncontaminated meat, getting it from the right sources, and that he's not juicing. Right.
Right.
That way he's forced to do it because he knows he's gonna get drug tested at any point, and then do that for 2 years, and then he could come back, and it'll be a big money fight when he does come back.
Yeah.
But the way it is now, it's just they're not taking it serious. There's too much money involved. It's like they don't really want to ban him. It's like, slap on the wrist for 6 months. You shouldn't have had that meat or whatever, and then we'll get the Triple G fight on after 6 months. There's too much money involved.
Who's Triple G fighting now?
Business.
I heard he's fighting someone who's not huge. It's matched.
It's signed. It is matched.
It's signed.
Okay, because they were talking about Spike O'Sullivan, and
so, I mean,
I'm not sure who it is.
He should have been fighting someone. Are you going on his BoxRec page?
Let's see.
I would have loved to have seen the Billy Joe Saunders fight, but I think that fight.
Oh, he's fighting Vanis Martirosyan.
Yeah, what's his record?
I think he's lost 1, maybe 2, but he was an amazing amateur.
Right.
I'm surprised.
Getting his BoxRec, but I would have loved to have seen him fight Billy Joe Saunders, or.
I don't think he was ready though, was he? Because his hand injury.
Who? Billy
Joe Saunders' hand injury.
Right.
They would have had to push the date back, and I think they wanted to keep that May 5th date because they'd put so much effort into promoting the date already. They didn't really want to let it go. Yeah. Martirosyan's 36-3.
Been stopped?
No, all decision losses, but he lost to Lara. I think that was his last fight.
Right.
But he's been inactive for a couple of years.
Well, it'd be good to get Triple G in there and see him in action again.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, this has been a boxing deep podcast, a boxing heavy podcast, should I say. If you like this podcast, please subscribe on iTunes. We also release episodes with guests. Might be people the likes of Ben Greenfield, Ryan Munsey. I've got one coming up with Ryan Munsey soon. Other people talking about business, talking about health, talking about biohacking, talking about human performance, how to make your body perform better without PEDs?
Yeah.
Without PEDs. So yeah, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you're listening to this, Google, and every time you upload an episode, you will get a notification. Also, leave us a review on iTunes. That will really help the show as well. You can also follow us on Instagram at @BoxandLife.
Yeah, we've got musicians, actors, comedians as well that we have access
everyone.
to, and
We mixed it all
those
up.
people on. So
we mixed it all up, and we got some big boxing podcasts with some big names coming on soon as well. So if you want to send us a message, you can find me, Tony_Jeffries, on Instagram, at Glenn Holmes LA on Instagram, and DM us and we'll get back to you. Anyway, thank you for listening. Until next time, we'll see you later.